Guys, I don't think ordinals were ever a thing, were they? This is all just pre-stream banter to test the audio. Once again, to me, it sounds pretty good. My levels are crispy on my end. What's up? No backstitch. Etienne? Butchered that name. Daniel Chandler. What's up? Aloha. Perhaps that means Daniel is in Hawaii or Hawaii. Jabroni, what's up? Blake, see, the problem with me this close to the mic is you can hear me breathing. And I'm a mouth breather. So you can hear every little, but it's okay. That's exactly right, Joey. I give the people what they want. I also turned down the ad frequency, so you shouldn't get ads as frequent. A lot of people were complaining about that. I just assume everybody has an ad blocker, so it doesn't really matter. It just farms the people who have YouTube Red because it still gives you the revenue, even though they never see the ads. What's up, Optimus? Trill Bill. If you guys want me to look at anything, talk about anything, let me know. Yeah, people tried to make ordinals a thing. I don't think, I don't know. Not for me. Not for me to talk about. I'm never going to be an NFT guy, but it always feels like those things are pump and dumpy. And that's pretty much what's happened so far. I'm sure they'll be back. I'm sure they'll be up a bunch in like, I don't know, 6 to 12 months, and everyone's gonna say, "Oh, I told you so." What's up, John? Ro Jogan. Every time I read that, it always breaks my brain. Yeah, the mobile, I can see how it gets annoying on mobile. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube mobile, so I understand the pain there because it's not like you've always got an ad blocker on mobile, so I get it. The other part is if you don't have ads on your videos, not that see visibility matters to me or like clicks or any of that stuff, but if you turn that stuff off, then you tend to not get promoted in YouTube in the algorithm. So like it doesn't the algo doesn't prioritize you. It thinks you're not of value basically because you're not providing value to YouTube. All right, 2 o'clock. Audio test is over. I can stop listening to myself breathe. I got a few things, then we can just talk about whatever. I figured I'd start with a bunch of Bitcoin stuff. Look into Bitcoin charts. It got super cold here. It says it's 71, but it's cold. Chat, it is cold. um, as far as Bitcoin price goes, I don't think there's any. I don't know. I feel like you get people every cycle say like it's over, it's the top. I think we're getting more of that this time because we are at all-time highs already pre-halving. Um, ETF stuff slowed down a little bit. I don't know. I don't really care what anybody has to think because to me we're exactly where we should be relative to the other halvings. This is performance since halving. If you look at the black line, you can hardly see it. We typically don't immediately start lifting off. I don't know why there's this assumption from certain people that like, oh, halving happened, we have to keep going. That's never been the case. Literally never been the case. The earliest we've ever seriously moved up is like day 50 after halving, and that was in 2012. The previous two halvings didn't really start moving up until like day 60, day 100. I'll take a look at the cloud stuff last halving as well. Kind of similar to now. I don't think it matters, honestly, that we haven't done much. What's up? Kite? Cane it? Some of these names I gotta be careful. Gotta be careful what I say. So I think we're good. I think we're fine. If I had to guess, we're gonna be some combination of all the halvings we've ever had. We get above 72 in the current price environment. And we will start to lift off again. Momentum will be back in our sales just based on all-time highs and being back in the media, and we'll see ETF flows pick up, and that's just the way it is, right? It's kind of a yin and yang between getting attention from everybody and people caring about this stuff again. So, I think we're fine. A lot of people still think Bitcoin's dead and Bitcoin's not coming back, whatever. So that looks good to me. The drawdowns is another one that from cycle to cycle, we do see pretty deep intra-cycle drawdowns relative to the halving periods. This halving period so far, it's not, I don't know if it's the halving period, I guess it's the cycle low. This cycle low period so far, the drawdowns actually haven't been that deep. And if we look at 2016, the 2016 halving, those cycle drawdowns were actually pretty deep after halving. I don't know where I'm going with this other than, look, we haven't really been tested. Not that I'm expecting us to have a deep drawdown, but it's just like figuring out how deep could this go? Could this go 30% down? Sure, could. I don't think it will here anymore. It had a chance to do that, but it picked up a bit. It's in the future. Where do we think the drawdowns could be? What's always funny about people who are bearish at all-time highs, it's like the Nvidia example. People get bearish. They think, it can't keep going. It's a crowded trade. It's hot ball of money. It's too much retail. When that almost always is never the case. Even the GME stuff was lifted off with institutional money. Okay, it takes a lot of money to move stuff around. So what's funny is people get bearish and price goes way up. And then they say, I told you so when it comes down. And then when it comes down, it comes back down to the original price where they were bearish. Like, it basically went nowhere, right? So it's like some of these people, these perma bears, they're just useless. They're just useless. I agree, Roe. Whenever I see your name, I think of Roe v. Wade. I agree that this is more in line with the 2015, 2017 stuff so far. We don't have like 300 cycles to analyze here, so we just have what we have. But yeah, it definitely looks more like 2015, 2016. You could argue that even back then we had whales like Roger Ver selling, we had BCH chain fork, we had Jihan Wu in the miners, we had a bunch of ways to sell the price down easier because I think coin concentration was higher. Whereas now with the ETFs, it might be harder collectively to sell us down, but easier if like Wall Street or whoever in the ETFs gets bearish, right? If there's some bearish sentiment and we see outflows just continuously, that could do it. But we don't have like these single power whales anymore other than like Sailor, right? There's nobody with tons and tons and tons of BTC just sitting around, most likely, especially compared to 2016, 2017. And another thing I would take away from this is we did just have a 20% drawdown. So like even up here with people who are still bearish, wanting more, wanting lower, that's fine. But to me, we've sort of satisfied what we needed to satisfy at that crazy level. Can I zoom in on this? I think so. We had that run up. FOMO, euphoria, post ETF, whatever, right? And we have spent some time just normalizing price up here. So I think that looks good to me. Looks really good. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Knit. He says best videos on YouTube. Daza, keep up the good work. Thank you. Torhov, good morning, disbelievers. Disbearleavers, more like it. Exactly, Joey. We get a mild drawdown, and people always expand their targets. up and down. I mean, there was always that possibility, and it's still roughly on the table. Whenever you make a range and you don't break the range, both sides of the argument are still valid. It's just, what does the range end up looking like? Is it accumulation? Is it distribution? Is it some sort of bearish chart pattern? To me, this doesn't look bearish at all up here anymore. I don't know. We had a chance to break down and didn't. Sideline cash. Yeah, I don't understand the obsession with left translated cycle stuff. I don't get it. This is not a swimming cap. It is a beanie, okay? It's cold. Potential issues with banks and ETFs buying straight from miners. I don't think that's an issue, because if the miners aren't selling, that's still removing the selling pressure, right? If they're not selling on market, or if they're not hedging their coins or whatever, right? If miners are selling directly to someone, then that's still coin creation getting absorbed, right? Wouldn't options increase vol as in volatility? So options could increase volatility. I think it depends if you're talking about like upside volatility or downside volatility. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how big they get. Satoshi's the only whale left. I think Satoshi might be dead, honestly. I want you to draw TA on the ETF's flows chart. Well, there was this triangle. You can kind of draw it with your eyes, I guess, where we did break out. We broke down from the flows triangle, right? And now it's just kind of been status quo, a couple 100 million a day. Daily this past week hasn't been anything. It's Memorial Day week. It's a short week. I don't think a lot of people are sorry. I don't think a lot of people are allocating to anything this week in particular. But we'll take positive inflows, period, right? Doesn't really matter. Positive is positive. We don't need crazy numbers constantly to do well. Time in a range at the all-time highs certainly isn't bearish to me. So this all looks really good. I have no issues with any of this. Probably the most important thing is the GBTC outflows have really slowed down quite a bit. So that's ETFs. Not much really going on there. So Farside was tracking the Hong Kong ETFs for a minute, but then they stopped. For now, I don't think those are enough to care about as far as the AUM. That'll probably change once things really get going, just because that's how it usually works. If you really want to see the Bitcoin flows globally, you can go to the Bold report. I'll put all the links to this stuff in the description of the video, but they should have the Hong Kong stuff on here. Yeah, they do. All we really need is like a monthly tally of the Hong Kong stuff. I just don't think it's that big. Can I sort this by, there we go. Yeah, so Hong Kong this month has only really been negative. Two of them, just trying to do the math. So I think it's net negative on the month for Hong Kong, for Bitcoin. I don't know if you guys can even see that on the stream. I can zoom it in. Anyway, they're just kind of a non-factor so far, but that may change. Something else they need on here is like a total monthly tally. Anyways, neat site. I'd bring it up every so often. Cumulative 30-day flows are positive now, pretty handedly. So it looks good. Do you have any thoughts on rumors of BlackRock manipulating BTC price with off-chain deals with Coinbase? I mean, I don't even know how to answer that. Sure, look, anything's possible. Do I think it's happened or going to happen? I don't think so. I think that's a lot of. I think Bitcoiners are inherently a trust list? No, what's the a, not a trusting bunch. I'm not saying trust BlackRock and Coinbase, but don't trust verify. I don't know. I don't even know how to investigate that, right? So I don't know. I don't think so. Do we want that to happen? I don't think we want that to happen. There's not really any new money coming in, only the same liquidity being thrown around. I think that's true for alts. I don't think that's true for BTC. Clearly, we've had 13.6 billion inflows. I don't think that's just money sloshing around. We didn't have that before. Yeah, I agree with a few people in the chat. It's a bit paranoid. It's fine to like think about all these potential problems with the ETFs, but I don't have any issues with it. So what are we gonna do? You can be like Bianco and say like, oh man, ETFs are so bearish. ETFs were always gonna happen. Whether we like it or not, they were always gonna happen if we got big enough. So here we are. As far as the Hong Kong ETH ETFs too, I don't have any numbers on that. I'm sure it's next to nothing so far. But once those numbers start populating, we can start talking about them more. Stuck in the fiat mines. What's up, Gulch? I'm all for being cautious about BlackRock and ETFs and whatever else, but I think that's a bit much. It's a bit much. There's a point where the volume on the ETFs is bigger than everything else, and then people talk about like paper gold versus spot gold. That's always a possibility, but again, like we start financializing this stuff with options, it's just inevitable. It's inevitable. What do you do? How do you stop that? You just don't participate in the ETFs. I agree, Avi. I don't think they really care about price. I think they want fees. They want AUM, but anyway. Puel multiple. I got a bunch of them. Look into Bitcoin charts. Just because I don't have much to talk about. So Puel multiple is just how fat and happy are the miners this year relative to the past 365 days, or today relative to the past 365 days. Historically, if it's elevated, usually means they are too fat, too happy, and we've topped. So we're down to like 0.75. Miners are definitely not making bank here. Post-halving. Mining fees way down. Ordinals activity is 0. What's the other one? That activity is also 0. 2-year moving average multiplier looks good. Top on this is 161. Historically, zooming out, it's done a pretty good job. Just giving you a rough idea of where price could top. It's dynamic, so it'll continue to move up over time as long as price moves up. Looks good. I think it's important to just be aware of some of the models to say, like, theoretically, if price gets to this level, what am I going to do? Am I going to do anything? Do I care? I don't know. It's up to you. 200 week moving average heat map. So this looks at the speed the 200 week is increasing, and it gives you some sense of like, are we moving too much? Are we moving too quickly relative to previous 200 week rate of change? And we're still, like, this tells me we are nowhere close to a cycle top, right? If we zoom out on this, it's pretty clear where we saw craziness. To me, this looks like nothing. This is an argument for the more we just slowly drift up, the longer this can last, right? The longer people normalize these prices, the better. You do not want a God candle. You do not want infinity by tomorrow, because that will inevitably lead to profit taking and people just selling and coming back in 4 years. That's what you don't want. So we want exactly what we're seeing now. Slow, boring, just tiny up sort of stuff. If you guys hear a soft hum, that is not a snowblower, it is not a leaf blower, it is a power washer. They're power washing my building today, because of course they are. Are you watching Copper? Yeah, I'm in Copper right now. We can take a look at those charts. I'll make a note for myself. One question, why the cape you wear, is that religious? I don't think I'm wearing a cape, am I? Anyway, so that's 200-week heat map. Looks good. Fear and greed. I never really found this super useful, but some people like looking at it. We are in the mildly greedy color. This looks at sentiment. So it looks at, what does it look at? I don't actually know. I think it's like Twitter, social media, dominance, Google Trends, momentum and volume, and volatility. I don't know. Some people like this. I've never really found it super useful. This looks, it's not like screaming we're in trouble. Pi cycle top is another crowd favorite. It's a crowd favorite because it, quote unquote, called the last cycle, which it did, to be fair. At the time, I was one of the people that said, nah, we're fine. This isn't the top. Technically, it wasn't the exact top, but it was good enough. It was good enough. So I would love this cycle if we cross and we keep going and we can throw this thing out forever. That would be amazing. It is getting close. So what this is the 111 daily moving average, and then the 350 MA multiplied. We can zoom out on this. It was created in 2018, I think. Did they say? I don't know if he says when it was created. The point is, this was like back tested to fit the previous three highs. Always good to know when this stuff was created, but I don't know. Again, it tells me we got plenty of room, plenty of time. Rainbow chart, plenty of room, plenty of time. No issues there. I see plenty of upside here. I don't know everybody else. The numbers are always going to look ridiculous. They look ridiculous every cycle. Okay, I've been here since 2013. They always look ridiculous. It amazes me that this thing has lasted as long as it has. This has been unchanged since probably before 2015, I'd imagine. Does it say? Sometimes they have in here when it was. So this might have been the original. Yeah, the original was 2014. I think there was even a different version on Bitcoin Talk. Yeah. Anyway, but we look good. I don't know what to tell people who aren't in Bitcoin, aren't denominated in Bitcoin, aren't thinking about Bitcoin. I don't know what to tell them. I mean, this happens every cycle. We look good. We're post-halving. End of story. Short-term holder realized price is basically the 20-week moving average. It's at 62.4. Don't really want to break down below there. That would kind of be the bearish. That would lead to bearish arguments. If we lose the 20-week, if we lose the short-term holder realized price, we don't typically do that in a bull market. If we look at the 2016, 2017 bull market, we just rode that line every time we pulled back. And if we look at the bear markets too, we don't typically see us get above the short-term holder realized price. And you can kind of think of this as, where's the break even for people? And once we break below the break even, then it's kind of over. Realized price is just the average price of coins moved on chain in short term, meaning less than 155 days. So this is looking at the Bitcoin price on chain over the past 155 days. It's kind of messy with everything that's going on with GOX and Gemini and the ETFs. On-chain data isn't as useful as it maybe once was, but that's the value anyway. Tons of people talking about global liquidity, and it's kind of flat. Hasn't really moved up at all. If we look at the 2020 period, global liquidity just exploded. Whereas here so far, global liquidity is kind of flat. In total, in aggregate, year over year, like it's up a lot. It's never been higher, right? But we're not seeing a jump in global liquidity just yet. So that's partly why I think we're just kind of waiting for something to happen. We're either waiting for highs, we're waiting for something to explode, we're waiting for the jobs market to give us a signal, and we're waiting for PCE, which is tomorrow, to give us a signal. Ultimately, that all feeds into what we think the Fed is going to do and what the signal is there. Is the Fed going to cut or raise? Is inflation going to turn up again? All those things play into this. Everybody's sort of like waiting, asking Dad, can I go outside and play? Can I go have fun? That's risk assets asking J-Pow at the Fed, can I please just buy everything and get out of treasuries and move money out of money markets? That's kind of where the market is right now. What do I think will happen once elections are done? Oh man. Let's just get there. Let's just get through the election without stuff happening first. I have no idea. Honestly, no idea. Power law corridor with a good. We're not above the median or whatever this line is yet. That typically is like the full send. So the more we just sort of like edge the median, the better, because then post 80K, which I think is the level, if we zoom in on this, post 80K, then things should really get cooking. We don't typically live above that level for a super long period of time. 2017, it was like 6 months. 2020 to 2021, it was like 6 months. 2013, 2014, it was quite a while, but I don't think we'll see that again. So we still look good. We look on course. I don't know. Just don't blow up trading sideways on 100x leverage, The pitchfork looks fine. We're at the midpoint. I think we're at what, 69 something or something? 69.3. We look good. We look fine. Just going to take time. It's going to take time. 20 weeks down there, 200 days down there. I don't know. Looks good. I don't know much to say other than it looks fine. I saw, was it Peter Brandt? Somebody was talking about Bitcoin against gold. It was probably him because he's a turbo boomer. We still haven't hit a new all-time high against gold. We still haven't hit the Bitcoin inflation adjusted price all-time high, which I think is like 71-ish. No, I think it's actually like 79. I think it's 79. I don't have a great way to look at that, but so we're still not overtaking gold yet, even though it feels like we might be. So we have that to look forward to. We're beating the pants off of TLT, which is the long bond ETF. It's no contest. I mean, we continue to gain on TLT more and more. And people were asking me about TLT. TLT doesn't look good because we are issuing a lot of debt, most of it on the short end currently, but we're still issuing debt, going to continue to issue debt. We have fewer buyers on the long end. I don't know. Doesn't look good for TLT in the long term. This one was like, what does Bitcoin against NVIDIA look like? Because I haven't looked at it in a minute. And it doesn't look great for Bitcoin. The vertical lines are having. It's still in a bearish pitchfork. It's still very much in a downtrend. we could get a diamond bottom here, maybe, but I don't know. Nvidia is definitely very strong here still. Yeah, the latest treasury auctions did not go well because, again, there's a lot of debt, not enough buyers, yields go higher. As yields go higher, the risk markets get angry because it makes less sense to be in risk, and it's just this like hoovering vacuum that just pulls money out of risk assets into yield. Yeah, I don't know. Trend is clearly bearish on this. This is the cloud. It does not look good. It looks like it's freshly bearish post halving, at least in the moment. But this could turn up. I don't know. Doesn't look good. Kind of the same reasons why ETH BTC doesn't look great to me. It's still in a downtrend. BTC price-wise, again, there's not much to say. We haven't really gone anywhere in a week. We had, well, not CPI. What was the news here? Was it CPI? I guess it was. CPI went our way. ETFs went our way. PCE Friday tomorrow could go our way. Unemployment next Friday could go our way. That could be how we get above 72. If both those things go our way in a sense that PCE comes in softer than expected, unemployment starts rising slowly, then the market starts saying, yes, we think a price or a hike, sorry. Then we think the Fed is going to cut, right? We can pull this up. I don't think the Fed should cut. I think they should hike, but that's just me. I think if they hike, they are going to blow some things up. None of what we're living through feels restrictive to me. The other problem is the debt side of the equation. Like, we just have so much debt that it's acting as a stimulus because of all of the interest payments. So this is the meeting probabilities. The three most important things in the next 3 weeks are going to be PCE Friday, unemployment next Friday, and then on the 12th, I believe that's CPI and FOMC on the same day. Yeah, so that'll be fun. What this is showing is the likelihood of a cut or a hike or nothing. So right now we're pricing in nothing for next meeting. Depending on how the numbers look, PCE and unemployment, this could move like September or July, depending on what Powell says in the meeting on the 12th. This could change. Originally, we were pricing in 7 cuts for the year. Now we're pricing in barely 1. What's up, Last Nano? Where's retail and why would they buy speculative internet plans? Chris, I agree, and that's why alts are PvP and Bitcoin is not. Bitcoin's clearly getting inflows through institutions of Wall Street and RIAs and retail on the richer side of the spectrum. Retail with a money market, or not a money market, retail with a brokerage account has access to this stuff. River is still reporting record numbers. River is like more of a retail Bitcoin place. Volumes on Coinbase have been up-ish, Kraken up-ish. But yeah, I think most places, Robinhood even, right? I think they've been reporting good volumes. But this is not the 2020 bull market where everybody had a bunch of money to throw around. That's for sure. Anyway, so those are the next things to pay attention to for the next 3 weeks. It almost feels like at, what are we at? Above 69. It almost feels like we're pricing in risk on pre-PCE here a little bit. Now, I'd said this in another Discord yesterday when we started moving up to 70 and change. I was like, oh, this feels like there's going to be an announcement about someone buying Bitcoin. And there was that company, Semflor or whatever it is, Metaplanet. There's a few buying BTC. It was might have been that, might not have been. And then we got the Gox stuff, coins moving around. So it's all just chop. But here it's starting to feel like people are pricing in a PCE that is favorable for us, but we'll see. Um, yeah, Daily Cloud looks fine. Daily Cloud says get long, stay long, don't think about anything else. That's what the Daily Cloud says. This could be a cup and handle eventually. By next Friday, we will know how bullish we are. There's a planet in which the 12th, like the meeting may not matter more than the CPI. If CPI comes in below expectations, which I don't think it will, but if it does, then we could be in full send mode by the time Jay starts talking. like there's a scenario in which PCE is soft, unemployment's up, CPI is soft, and then Jay comes start talking on the podium and everything like collapses, right? Because he's like, nope, we're not going to cut at all. So there's a path, there's a matrix that this actually breaks out before the 12th. I don't think we get to 83 before the 12th, but I could see us breaking up and then pulling back to 72 when Jay starts talking. Anyway, this looks good. Inflation prediction is 336, which is slightly down on a month-over-month basis, but Truflation is not in agreement with that. So maybe Truflation is also wrong. As far as last halving, if you think this is chop, last halving was mega turbo ultra chop, because at this point in the calendar, May 30th, we did nothing. Like, look, we did nothing after halving for a while. Pre-halving was a lot of fun with COVID, obviously. We did nothing after halving for a long time. We had a couple cloud signals telling you to open longs, close longs, open long, close long, open long, whatever. It was on the right side of the trade eventually. We had this gross massive range from 4K to 10K. Like it was not a fun time. But we got there. We got there eventually. What's up, Mur? Yeah, Joey, I don't have the shadow stats. I think you have to like pay for that, the up-to-date data. Because if you go to their website, I don't think this data is to present, right? This is only like 2023. So if anybody knows what the actual data for this is. I mean, look, we all live life. We feel it. We feel grocery prices higher. We feel eating out prices higher. Car insurance. Like there's certain things we just know inherently those prices aren't coming down. Knowing the shadow stats data is interesting, but it doesn't affect Fed policy. It just doesn't. So, like we can all agree that CPI is an imaginary fairy tale, and that number is still going to be the most important number because that's what policy is based off of. This is the Truflation stuff. I'm sure by now everyone's heard of Truflation. I don't know why did they add a coin to this? Why? Just sell a subscription and be done with it. Like the data is already good. Why mess up a good thing? Inflation. Yeah, you can measure how much they are lying, and that is a fun thing. I agree. So here's why I'm worried about the next CPI. since May 1st, so we opened May at 2.22, we're going to close May at 2.64. So that is a month over month leap. It hasn't been 1-to-1 with CPI, but I don't know, just something in the back of my mind. I think I just need to say, you know what? Just trade it like you're bullish, and it's fine. Trade it like you're bullish until it's not, right? Anyway, last halving period was noisy, was choppy. People were, I don't think people were that bear or that bullish, honestly. People were mostly just like in shell shock from COVID. The shadow line on here is the US liquidity. And it actually took a good long while for liquidity to work its way into Bitcoin post halving, even post stimmies and PPP loans and everything else. Like, it took 6 months. This is almost, it's almost an argument for seasonality over liquidity, even though it doesn't really make sense. But I mean, look at the massive jump in liquidity. It's like a 2x jump in liquidity. Price recovered, right? I'll give it that. It recovered from 3K or whatever it was, 4K. But we didn't really start until Q4. So we look at now, if we look at the US liquidity, it's hard to see. It's just flat, noisy. But since April 15th, since tax day, liquidity has not recovered back to those levels. So this would say, look, if liquidity jumps back up, we should expect highs, and we should expect headwinds without liquidity, barring some other catalysts in the meantime. And this is why alts are kind of like PvP, right? There's not really much, there's not many people trading alts broadly. It's more like this meme coin versus that one versus that one versus that one. But Bitcoin looks fine. I have no issues. Something else in the back of my mind that I look at every day, BitX. I don't, what's the term? I trade BITU over BITX because BITU has better expense ratio. But just charting BitX gives you some sense of the legacy hot ball of money for Bitcoin. The cloud here looks increasingly ready to be bullish again. And there's a planet where we could fib out to 100, which would be a 2x. Look, I'll take 88. I'll take a 2x again. Sure. So this looks good as well. Not ready yet, but I'm positioned with the assumption that it moves up. Should I sell my miners for BitX? I don't know. That's a you question. I cannot answer that question. Kraken Pro, they're listing a bunch of stuff, by the way. They listed ENA, a bunch of other stuff I've never heard of. Depending on your jurisdiction, certain things may be available. It's good to see I always like to look at the volumes first, but it's good to see Bitcoin volume at the top. In a bear market, in a true bear market, you'll see stablecoin volumes at the top. So what do people care about today? People care about Bitcoin, ETH, Sol, Pepe, Doge, SHIB, WIF, NEAR. That's it by volume. That's like the top 10. Everything else, nobody could really care about, which I think is hilarious. I think that's so funny. Most of those were meme coins. And no one cares about anything else. It's just hilarious. Sell your soul for BitX. Show you how to pull a fib, sure. So on the left side of TradingView or Kraken Pro, you'll see this. It's usually the top option, fib retracement. So I like to do this on a high time frame. If you want projections higher, you start with the high and move it down to the low. So I'm looking at this, I'm looking at this, and that'll project you higher. That's it. It's really simple. What people ask me questions about all the time is, do I look at the wicks? Do I look at the bodies? I tell them if it's a higher cap coin or if it's legacy, I would include the wicks. If it's something that is like 3 minutes old and it's an altcoin, I'd stick to the bodies. I'm trying to find one that Tron's probably not a good example. What's an example of Pith? If you see something that's super noisy and it's an alt, because everyone's like, what about the hourly blah 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 chart? I'm like, yeah, okay, like look at these wicks, right? Do you really think you should be fibbing all the way up here to down here? Probably not. You should probably tighten it up a little bit, right? Does it really matter? At the end of the day, probably not. It's subjective, but you want to try to get close to reality. So if you're on a higher time frame, I would use the wicks. If you're on a lower time frame, I would use the bodies. Or if you're on some altcoin garbage, use whatever makes sense. You'll also see me just take some logical horizontal and just say, you know what, we're going to cut off. We're going to cut off the all-time high because we didn't stay there. We didn't revisit that level. The current local high is 71. So I'm just going to use that as the high and then fib from there. That's how you do it. If you wanted to go, if you're bearish, if you say, you know what, bulls are wrong, this is going down, you start with the low, end at the high, and then that gives you the move to the downside. So that's how you do it. We still, by the way, are kind of in the middle of this head and shoulders target, which I don't think ever completed. This is like the real hard question is, okay, we've got a diagonal. Now, how do we fib this? Do we take the high that makes sense? Do we take a high that is extreme? Do we take the middle? I don't have a good answer, but we still haven't really hit the target on the old inverted head and shoulders. There was another example of that weeks ago at this point, but this one right here, this was maybe a little bit more clear. Same sort of thing. It's like, okay, do I measure it from the middle? Do I measure it from the high? We didn't really hit any of those targets regardless, right? Didn't really go anywhere, but it did break up. We also had, it's funny, you see these once, you see them all the time, but we also had this before the breakout. What did we have this time? Kind of the same thing, triple bottom. Anyway. Yeah, so meme coins. We'll take a look at 6 of them. Doge. Unfortunately for me, Doge hasn't gone anywhere, really. It looked ready to go. Just didn't go anywhere. I think the trade is still alive. It's at risk for breaking down and hitting a stop loss for sure. You never want to see this. You never want to see, inverted Adam and Eve, all that nonsense. So not great. I haven't abandoned it yet, but trend-wise, on the daily, it doesn't look horrible. It just looks like it needs time. It just needs a lot of time. If it makes the lower lows, you cut it. NFA. That's what I'll be doing. And you just wait. Just wait it out. 12-hour. Yeah, it just needs time. SHIB. SHIB looks fine. It moved. It broke out. Looks fine on the cloud. Daily cloud. It's starting to look better. Trend-wise. here's another fib question. Like, how do you fib this thing? You know, you've got a wick up here, you've got a wick down here. So another thing you can do is just go to the line chart and just use the line chart, because that's closes, candle closes, and not, it excludes wicks automatically. So that would be one way to measure that, just to clean it up. Otherwise, you'd get a massive target that may not make sense. So I don't hate just sitting in SHIB as long as it can hold those highs. I'd probably put a stop loss like down here. You have to be generous with the meme coins, because they're like a bucking bronco, you know, they will just fly all over the place all the time. But that looks fine. Pepe, I thought I played Pepe pretty well. I bought it, when did I buy it? I don't know, I think I bought it somewhere in here and I sold it like somewhere in here. The move kind of happened for me in Pepe, so I think it needs lots of time to recover. It's got a decent TKC clamp there on the daily. I'm not, put it this way, I'm not dumb enough to hold this thing like some people. I'm not saying that's the wrong thing to do. I'm just saying, like, I can't look at this chart knowing what I know and like say, oh yeah, this will be fine. It's a meme coin. It's the hot coin right now. So I'm out for now. I traded Pepe on chain. I traded Pepe through DEXs because Kraken Pro doesn't have listed for Americans for some reason. So again, depending on your jurisdiction, you may have some some restrictions on what you can trade. So that's Pepe. I think it just needs a lot of time now. Whiff looks okay trend wise. I don't know. It doesn't excite me, but it looks fine. If it gets a daily TK cross, it might start to do okay. I don't know, but it doesn't look terrible. I don't have any whiff. I'm not going to be trading that, but it looks fine. Bonk, I'm still in. That's what I rotated my Pepe into, somewhere around here, around the breakout. It looks rough. It looks fine, but it obviously gave back a bunch. You can see if I would have measured the fibs from here to the body, now even then, one thing about fibs is you just have to trade them a bunch and like understand how they play out, get a sense for that. Because I could have had sell orders on the book, right? I didn't. I thought it would push up a little bit more into the target zone there, and it still can. Still can. It's got time. I'm not really worried about it. Looks fine to me. Somebody was asking me about like the 4-hour bonk chart or something. I don't think you can really trade meme coins on low time frames. You just have to sort of eat it on the daily and the 12-hour and hope for the best. You know, like you gotta let it give it some breathing room, I think. But bonk looks fine to me. And then Floki, I don't know. I didn't like it because of the rising wedge. It still broke up, but I guess you could set an alert. I should probably do that. Set an alert like slightly below the breakout level. And then think about opening a position up here. At least that's how I would trade it. On-chain Josh season. Yeah, you know it's crazy when I'm trading on-chain, guys. Toronto, Ontario wants me to talk about my self-custody practice. Hardware wallets are great. what else is there to say? BitX and Bit2. So BitX is a 2x Bitcoin ETF. So it's legacy land. It is based off of futures. The expense ratio is like 1.8% per year. It does have a yield for some crazy reason because of the way the futures contracts work. That's a long story. BITU is based on a spot index. So it's a cheaper product. The expense ratio is like 0.9% or something, 0.81, whatever it is. It's just a way to get leverage in legacy land on Bitcoin. It's leverage BTC. That's all. That's why I like it. Jasmy, sure. So I don't think there's anything to do meme coin wise. SHIB is probably my best looking current opinionated meme coin thing. Doge, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Doge. I just think it's easier for these other meme coins to move because people already have money on chain. Doge is its own chain, so unless it's like wrapped on Solana or ETH or whatever, it's just going to be tough. It doesn't look horrible. I think it just needs time. That's my cope on my own position. It's probably not going to move more than the other stuff or faster, but I like how the chart has recovered. But SHIB is probably, of the 6 here, SHIB is probably the best looking in the moment. It broke out, not a lot, pulled back a little bit. Looks okay. Is there enough? Just trying to see if there's enough high time frame cloud. Here's another test for the fibs. So if we take, I don't know if can you see that on the stream? If you take this high, this low, it gives you a zone that we actually already hit, right? So that was that zone on that range. I don't know, looks okay. I don't love it, I don't hate it. Looks okay. Doge has a massive market cap. Yeah, but you know, do market caps matter in a bull market? Come on. Come on. I know, I agree. I think all this stuff's worthless, valueless. It should not be what it's at, period. End of story. But it's like Nvidia. If the chart looks good, the chart looks good, you know? Daily SHIB. Daily SHIB is working on a bullish Kumo breakout. Get the word out, guys. We got a runaway bullish SHIB chart. All right, that's meme coins. AI coins. Is Near even an AI coin? Am I just being generous and calling it an AI coin? I don't even know. So I liked Near and still do because of the chart. Similar to Doge, it has underperformed everything else. It's back to the neckline of the breakout. The trend on the cloud high time frames looks fine. It still has a target. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to try to oversell this thing. It looks as strong as my Doge position does. But for me, a stop loss would be like down here, below there, and it's probably done, at least for the meantime, for me. I've been holding this thing for like a month. Since April 27th, I think. Where was that? So I bought somewhere over here. I like the chart. I don't know. But yeah, it hasn't moved. What is not? I don't even know. We can pull it up if there's a chart, but I've never heard of it. Someone's asking about degen. I can pull that up. Render probably looks better than Near. I don't know. Anything that's not a meme coin, that's not Bitcoin, that's not Ethereum, that's not Solana, hasn't really done much. It needs Bitcoin to break out first, I think, for the rest of this stuff. You know, Pepe moved after ETH broke out, right? There's not enough money in the ecosystem to push everything all at once. So this chart still looks fine to me. Just got to be patient. Looks good though. Nvidia, I guess we'll talk about briefly. It broke out. Not really much to say. It did what the chart expected it to do. That's it. All the other AI stuff hasn't really done much of anything. Ocean, FET. Not is on ton. Let me see. Someone asked me to look at Filecoin. Charts that look like Filecoin are in my set it and forget it. Ride that sucker to zero if you have to. If it looks like this, if it's not in the mainstream zeitgeist, it either goes nowhere this cycle or eventually gets rotated into. It's kind of binary. So if you think any of these charts like have a chance, if you think the FDV isn't too high, you know, look, I'm not shilling these. I'm just saying, look, the charts potentially could do well. Of these 6, Algo might have the best chance, but I don't have a strong conviction on that. Pepe was ultra bullish before ETH broke out. So the reason I took the time to even buy it on chain was exactly that. Like, the chart looked good. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. Like, oh, if the ETH ETF gets approved, Pepe is going to break out. I didn't even think about that. I just like the chart. If anything, if I was thinking about it, I would not have pulled the trigger because I would have been like, oh, ETH ETF is going to get denied. Everything ETH related is going to sell off. Anyway. Yeah, BNB. I've just chosen the wrong horses lately, you know? BNB, Doge, Near. These have just gone nowhere. I still think it looks fine. It just needs time, you know? Again, like, we're kind of waiting. We're waiting on these economic numbers in the US, PCE, unemployment, CPI. We're hoping that yields don't keep creeping higher. We're hoping that UJ doesn't explode. So this might just need a catalyst. I'm still holding it. I don't think there's a reason to panic yet on Near or Binance BNB. So yeah, that's those 4. That's those. We talked about those. We talked about that. Talked about those. All right. Somebody wanted me to look up XMR. XMR. The biggest issue with XMR is that it's not really traded in many places. So there's not a lot of ways to bid this thing up, you know? It's kind of just Kraken. I don't even know where else this is listed, honestly. It's a hot mess. It's super noisy. I mean, you could argue it's starting to get above the daily cloud, the 3-day cloud. I don't know. If regulations didn't kill this thing, it would probably do well. But unfortunately, it is what it is, you know? It just looks okay. I don't really have any strong convictions on it. Is Jasmine? Jasmine's on here. Jasmine broke out. Okay. It's probably bullish on the daily cloud, yeah. So for me, I would focus on anything that's showing any sort of strength at all. You know, look, it had this Adam and Evie thing. Bullish on the cloud here. It looks good. Meanwhile, you've got people focusing on stuff that literally looks like this is what people are focusing on. It's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't even know where people find most of these charts. At least focus on stuff that's going up. I just don't get it. But yes, this chart does look good. Looks very good. I forget what this is. What this is for. What like sector is Jasmine? It's not gaming, it's not community, it's not layer 2. Is it web 3? What's it under? Oh, nice. They added PayPal USD. I don't actually know what this is. Anyway, not that that matters. It's just always interesting, like what sectors are doing well. Is it DeFi? I don't know. Chart looks good. Chart looks good. I like that it broke up from the range, consolidated. Looks like markup. Looks like continuation to me. Yeah, we can look at Link. Link's another one. I guess I should hold my tongue. I should bite my tongue. It actually looks okay. Looks okay. Forgive me, Marines. Forgive me. I was going to say, so I assumed Link had like fallen back below the cloud. It did not. Let me just make these bigger and redder so I can see them. Bullish TK cross, price above cloud, bullish Kumo twist yet to happen. Okay. It looks decent. It looks decent. My concern is still this thing. You do not want this thing. You do not want a mega turbo bearish head and shoulders, okay? If we think about how this could happen, if we get an angry PCE, if we get unemployment that's too good, if we get CPI that's rising, right? There's a path on the economic data matrix where this could play out. So you really have to dodge this. That would be the main worry, is if everything starts to turn down, you have to have the courage to say, you know what, now is not the time. But it does look better than most charts, I'll give you that. What else? What else? Not, I'll look at, yes, DGen, I will look at Pendle, Athena. I think I'll look at Tia as well, because somebody had me look at it earlier and it actually looks like it's trying to recover. The joke was, I'll never forget, it was like years and years ago. It was like Target? I forget the name of the coin. There's some newly listed coin on Binance. A lot of coins tend to start off like Tia did, where it's like, oh, things are bullish, up only, amazing. And then a few weeks later, people just forget about they ever exist, and then they get delisted, right? That's sort of what happened with Tia. I would argue. Everybody got super bullish on it. My guessing some unlocks happened or something, I don't know. It just wasn't the it thing anymore. So here on the daily, it's certainly trying. It's trying to do something. Double bottom, Adam and Eve, right? It's trying. So I like it better above the cloud. I like it better fully bullish on the cloud on the daily, but it's trying to bottom. I'll give you that. Tia crowd. Trying to bottom. I still don't know. Does anybody actually use this thing? Are there any numbers and metrics that we can look at? That would be helpful. Does it matter? No, but it would be helpful. Phantom, we'll take a look at that. I think I said yesterday this one actually looked okay. You know, it depends on what kind of trader you are. Do you like buying junk that goes down forever? Yeah, this isn't Phantom to be clear, but there's kind of three types of charts, right? There's like down only, range only, up only. I prefer to be in the up only camp. So if this range looked more bullish, I would like it better. It's very choppy. And this is Andre whatever his name, right? Chain. See, people are I could care less about narrative. I could care less about cult of personality or any of that nonsense. If the chart doesn't look good, it's just not for me. No, I didn't go to school for finance. I went to school for biology and biotechnology. So this chart doesn't look horrible. It doesn't look great. You want to try to catch this when it looks like this. When you've got a bullish TK cross price above cloud. That's your best chance. You know, it goes back to like the, where is it? The BitX chart. Why am I paying attention to this so much? I'm waiting for the bullish TK cross price above cloud. That's what I'm waiting for with the bullish cloud. And it looks like it's close. It is so close. So that is the ideal setup for me. That's how I trade. Link, same thing, right? Like Link looks good, but it could look better. We could be more sure that this won't break down. It's had a decent move from the bottom. It doesn't have the cloud on its side fully here yet. What's up, Ray? What do I mean Pepe needs a lot of time? So things just don't go up forever, right? Again, I'm technical analysis based. I could give two hoots about the meme narrative or any of that junk. How things generally work is you consolidate for a period of time. That consolidation is either bullish or bearish. If it's bullish, you break up. If it's bearish, you break down. You reach some logical point where people start taking profit. If people take too much profit, if everybody takes profit, you go back to the breakout level. If some people step in and start buying as people are taking profit, then you make a new range. After you make that range, we start the cycle all over again. Is this bullish or bearish? Well, it turns out that range was also bullish. Similar principles, inverted head and shoulders. That range broke out, reached a target where you'd expect it to. Trend-wise, this looks fine. Am I expecting this to necessarily continue immediately? No. I think it needs time. So that's what I mean. It needs time for more buyers to come back in and say, I like the price here, versus the other people behind them that are taking profit, right? There's probably a pitchfork on this. There's got to be a pitchfork somewhere, right? If there's not a pitchfork, then there's just a channel. Where do they put parallel channel? There's like some sort of channel. So even though it's not for me, trend-wise, this thing could just keep ping-ponging, right? It could keep going. It could keep going forever. It's just not for me. The consolidation happened, the breakout happened. That's it. I made some notes about ZRX. Is that what that says? I can't see because of the heart. Okay. There's not enough data on ENA yet. On Kraken, I'll look at that somewhere else. ZRX. Yeah, sure. I mean, so I think at that time there was this idea that DeFi was bullish. Really, the main reason I got bullish on ZRX was pre-Coinbase listing, because I knew that the Coinbase venture capitalists were invested in this, and I knew that they would probably try to get listed on Coinbase. So that has happened years ago at this point. I don't know why you would buy ZRX anymore, personally. Like the fundamental reason, you know. The chart looks horrific. I don't know why you touch this here. Again, what am I always looking for? I'm always looking for the exact same thing. Anything that looks like this is where I want to be, where I want to live. This being the circled bullish Kuma breakout, bullish TK cross. This is not for me. This is nothing. This is junk. I like to be on the side of momentum. I don't like to be a bag holder community member. So no. I'm either buying the breakout on the daily, or I'm buying some like ultra long-term consolidation where I think it's bullish. So that's ZRX. Yeah, I hear you, Matteo. There was a time when DeFi was more popular, and the fundamental reason for ZRX existing, like Matcha is a great exchange, but the ZRX token doesn't benefit from Matcha, you know? So why would you? I just don't know why the token exists anymore. I think at one point they talked about like a buyback program, but I don't know. I haven't followed it for a minute now. There was this, I remember this graphic specifically where they were like, we're going to phase out the team's development and the community is going to take it over. It's like, yeah, the team just made a bunch of money on the ICO and the listings, and now the team is taking profits and the community is going to take over. Where did I lost chat? Do you think the market will tank if CPI comes in high? I think the market's going to be. I fell asleep. Sorry. I think the market is going to be very angry if CPI comes in hot. Definitely. We are living from data point to data point right now. That's just where we're at in the market until the Fed brings things down. So any data point that turns the market expectations on what the Fed is going to do will directly affect prices. So if we get some data points that show inflation is high and rates are going to go up or stay where they are, the market's going to get very angry with that. Yeah, I have a degree in gender studies. How long have I been trading? Since 2013. Just reading chat. I haven't talked about ETH or Sol yet. It's funny, no one's asked either. Nobody really cares. I think the ETH and the Sol people at this point are just like, you know what? My coin is the coin, and it's going up. They don't really care. They're kind of both right, I think. Doesn't really matter, but ETH has a new lease on life. It has ETFs coming down the pipe. I do not think the flows will be huge, but $1 in is another dollar in, so it's got that for it. I would say up here, back to the fib comment. You know, do we fib all of these wicks? Do I fib this Kraken wick all the way down here? Probably not. So just a level that makes sense. And if this breaks out with BTC, we probably see 5K Ethereum. Because I think this is also cup and handle. That's kind of all I have to say about ETH. It looks good. The handle could go as low as 3,400. You really don't want your handles going more than 50% of the range down. But it looks good. That's it. Looks good. Nothing else to say. Sol also looks fine, right? It's basically BTC. It's just sort of chilling above the cloud. Looks fine. We don't always get immediate momentum pushes off of these TK crosses. It's better if we do, obviously, because then you know you're right quicker, but I don't know. Looks like it's on the right side of bullishness. Just needs time. ETH BTC. Man, do you know how much hate I got from... So on Twitter, I was like, hey, ETH BTC could just keep ranging for another 6 months and break out later. Man, people did not like that. But so far, that's what we're doing. In order for ETH BTC theoretically to break out, you would need flows into ETH. I would argue to eclipse BTC flows, even though you've got all these ETH bag holders saying, oh man, $1 in the ETH ETFs is so reflexive. It's going to explode price. We'll see. We're not there yet. This doesn't look blanketly bullish to me. It is, once again, making an attempt above the daily cloud. On the 3-day cloud, it is nowhere close to being bullish. Still just down only for a while now. So that doesn't excite me too much. Somebody just asked me about Tezos. Tell me it ain't so. You got to tell me where you're... What's your average price? What's your average Tezos price? Again, if it's me, I'm not going to make fun of this person, but if it's me, I prefer things that are going up instead of down. That's just me. I guess you could put Tezos in the bucket with the other 6 where, like, I'm talking like 6 months from now, somebody rotates into this junk. So yeah, like this, anything that looks like this has a chance. It has a chance. I shouldn't hate on it too much. I just think you're better off trading other stuff right now. That's just me. 0.6 is your entry? I mean, if 0.6 is your entry, what are you asking me questions for? You're good. 0.6. It's got to be slightly higher than that, but yeah, it looks fine. It just needs lots and lots of time. Go back to the original conversation. We need liquidity here. We need people here. We need people to care about stuff that's like on page 25 of CoinMarketCap or whatever, right? Like, we're not quite there yet. We're not quite there yet. But the chart looks decently okay. Similar to Algo. I think Algo's on Kraken, right? It's the same concept. Like, yeah, this could in who knows when, with the rounded bottom, whatever, right? It could start to move up in 2025. I don't know. XRP. Sure. XRP. Again, dead money. You know, the difference between Here, let's pull this up. I gotta find a place I can do this. XRP. Has anybody actually ever looked at this pair? This might be a world first. XRP, XMR. What does the pair look like? What's a good Bitstamp? Okay. I mean, if you want to talk about absolutely dead money on a relative basis, if this doesn't tell you all you need to know about XMR, you've been in a range against a piece of trash known as Ripple for years. Years. You'd think if there was some fundamental differentiating factor here, that Monero should theoretically outperform Ripple pretty handedly, pretty easily. No. It hasn't done anything. Where are we in the moon cycle? We can pull that up. So yeah, you know, if Ripple looks like Monero, then that tells you all you need to know about both the coins, unfortunately. If you just type in moon, it should pop up. Yeah, moon phases. We're in the up moon. So the up moon day is the current low. Spooky. That's spooky. Chat, that's spooky. We're like halfway through to the next moon phase, right? I don't know. It looks fine. Okay, some of these others not. People keep asking me. Oh, what is the best exchange? Every week there's a new coin that people somehow discover. Every week. I don't know how they do it. I live here and I don't even know, where did this coin even come from? I don't even know. The cloud's never wrong. Told you to get in down there. It is, the train has left the station. Train has left the station on this one. I don't know. I have nothing to say about it. It looks bullish. It looks too bullish, you know? That's it. Hourly cloud tells you all you need to know. It's up. It's up 140% since the cloud gave you the go long signal. That's pretty good. Not for me here. Degen. Which exchange? Bybit? Just kind of sideways. Just looks neutral to me. I have nothing else to say about it. Pendle. At least it's not making lows. I'll give you that. Pendle. Look at this fancy little note I left myself. So it looks like I was saying IHS last time, which looks potentially correct. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look terrible. Looks okay. It looks like render to me. You know, it's kind of just like chilling. Looks fine. Anything above the cloud always has a chance. LG, oh, sure, Ray. Is that legacy? There we go. I don't know what this is. Largo? Yeah? If it's legacy, we should probably use legacy cloud, huh? So it previously had a couple false breakouts on the daily. That's usually when I move to a higher time frame, like the 2-day. The 2-day looks like it's been correct. Yeah. Doesn't look bad. It reminds me of Pfizer. Pfizer broke out of the cloud after a year and a half. Just this little tiny cloud. All right, crypto, Pendle, Athena. Someone asking about. Is this the best exchange for that? Every week it's something new. Every week people find their new rags to riches story. Maybe. Again, maybe. Maybe an inverted head and shoulders. Maybe. Just leave myself a note. I think when I say stuff like this, people are like, oh, it's bullish. No, that's not true. It's bullish if it breaks the resistance level. So, you know, if it doesn't break this level, then that's all I care about. I care about the breakout. I don't care about what it looks like before the breakout. It just needs to not keep going down. It looks like it's trying to break out. I kind of wonder what the crypto exchange funding rates will look like with the ETH ETFs in play. My assumption here is if crypto funding creeps up, the Athena token should do better because then it's harvesting more funding. I think that's correct, but it could be wrong. What's up, Dangles? Vanadium. Man, that is a stretch. Vanadium. Any other crypto stuff? I don't think so. If anybody has any other requests, let me know. What's up, Builder? Don't need the cloud when you have moon phases. Exactly, Joey. Big time builder? What is that? Where does a good God-fearing Christian like yourself find this chart? Where do people find this stuff? Builder, we need to talk. What are you doing? Maybe it's in double bottom, you know? Maybe. I'm so horrible at drawing with a mouse, it's not even funny. It's Adam and Evie. It could be a IHS eventually. If we go to like the low time frames, it's probably easier to see. I mean, I guess that's bottom of the barrel fishing or whatever. It reminds me of all these other charts that have done nothing. If we go, can we go year to date? No. Sorry, that's too messy. Let's go back to the 4 hour. Reminds me of all these other layer ones that have just done a bunch of nothing since they broke down. You know, Link is the one exception where it actually broke up. I guess we can take off Tron and ETC, but right, if we compare Link to Atom, Dot, Matic, AVAX, ADA, Say, all these coins roughly were moving about the same. Link had that PR announcement with whatever, and it pulled up, but everything else is still just ranging at the lows. So again, we need the liquidity, we need the money, we need the economic data to go our way. It's just we're not there yet. How would you determine if you'd rather enter a position on a large cap coin like ETH, but getting less coin? You can't Pyro. You can't let unit bias change your positioning. If you can buy 0.001 of BTC and you think it's going up more than 10,000 Doge or whatever, like, you got to think in percentages. What are my expectations for Sol next year? Everything bullish. Send it all. If BTC is bullish, everything's going to be bullish. It's just a matter of, on a relative basis, is Sol going to be more bullish than BTC? Is it going to be more bullish than ETH? The Sol market cap, here's a scary thought. The Sol market cap already made a new all-time high. I don't think ETH did yet, right? Yeah, so ETH hasn't made a new market cap all-time high. Bitcoin, I'm pretty sure has. So that just goes to show you the amount of coinflation. Regular. Yeah, so Bitcoin hit its market cap all-time high. Sol definitely has. ETH not yet. All right, what else we got? Yeah, let's we got a few minutes left. Let's switch to legacy. People wanted me to talk about a few things. Switch to the legacy cloud. Ba-boom. Back to TLT for a second. This is not total return. This is just price. Total return includes interest. This is why the banks are in trouble, by the way, if you're unaware. They took a bunch of long-term bonds in when prices were all the way up here, and now prices are down 50%. So they are down bad if they loaded up in 2020 on something like TLT. This does not look bullish on trend. Doesn't even look close. It looks very angry. So I really do not like TLT at all. This reverses course if the rates on the long end come down. The problem is the rates on the long end, the long end being like the 10-year, 20-year, 30-year, those rates have been going up. So that's why TLT has been going down. And that's another reason why above 5% on the 10-year, and where a lot of things are probably in trouble. Banks start blowing up, stuff like that, because they just don't have the money anymore. That's like BTFP 2.0, if we go that high. So that's TLT, not bullish. MSOS, which is the Devil's Lettuce ETF. Look at that. How good am I, chat? Look at that. How good is past me for drawing this head and shoulders? Boom. It looks bearish, for sure. It had the regulatory news that was super positive. I don't follow this stuff enough to know like what's next, you know? Like, do we expect the companies in this ETF to start to do well because of business and market share? I have no idea. Trend is not yet bullish yet, but it's definitely worth keeping an eye on it on the watch list on like some high time frame. The daily's too noisy. The 2-day is okay. The cloud, 2-day cloud. The 3-day is probably your best bet. Wait till it's back above the 3-day. But I don't know what the next step is in the regulatory journey of MSOS. Somebody wanted me to look at Coco. I just don't know which ticker. going to assume it's this one. So cocoa, what an insane chart, by the way. There were literally, so there's been what, 4 signals in 2 years on this chart. So you had years of chop, just years, right? Like the forever chop. Look at this. Look at this. Chop forever. Then you get scarcity, shortage issues with weather and disease and whatever else. So theoretically, if you ever come across the chart like this, always want to box off the range first, okay? This range to me is, it doesn't look like it looks like a random walk. It looks like nonsensical chop, right? There's nothing, there's not really a signal here, I would argue. Even on high time frames, I don't think this is white coffee, and I don't think it's anything. Okay, great. So once we start breaking out of the range, then I think you can start taking the cloud seriously. Even though the cloud was correct down here, like, are you honestly going to take that signal? No, not. I mean, you could take every one of these signals, but the probability of this going anywhere is pretty nil until it breaks out. So, okay, great. So we have the range, we have the breakout. Since the breakout, you've gotten a couple Kijun bounces. This is your TK crisscross in here at 3,500. Since then, it's been insanity, right? What is this? 200% move. Okay, great. That happened. It pulled back. Something you could also do is, I don't know, I look at this stuff for fun. Like, let's look at my system on some market I don't care about or look at ever. What do the Williams fractals look like? What does the cloud look like? Williams fractals plus the cloud here have been on the money based on what I can see. So Kijun bounce, TK crisscross. It's telling you to get out here, Kijun bounce there. Okay, great. Trailing stop loss, trailing stop loss, trailing stop loss, trailing stop loss, trailing, and it told you to get out at 10K. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So since then, what's happened? Just ranging chop, right? Trying to get back above the cloud. Just interesting. The other one was OJ. OJ. Also on the daily, much noisier. Had this crazy tight consolidation. What do the B-bands look like on that? Look at how tight those B-bands are. Super tight. So again, it's like, what, you know, some random stuff. What did the B-bands look like before the breakout? Were they correct? Yeah, they were, because they were telling you, even though this was noisy, as these were tightening, they were telling you prices consolidating above the midpoint. So that's what you want to see. So there was a bullish expectation for this. Anyway, up here, I have no idea. Probably Kijun 420. Blaze it is the target. Pretty ugly breakdown there. Was there a fractal? Oh, there's not even a daily fractal. So like a 4-hour or something? No. No, that's an ugly chart. It's like straight up, straight down. That's rough. Copper, someone asked about. I guess we can just pull up copper real quick. The futures. Copper futures, kind of similar to OJ. So today, today would be your fractal stop loss print on this. Again, there was like some sort of diagonal down here. So do you take the cloud seriously? I don't know, but this would be the first daily trailing stop loss hit on copper. This COPX is the one I've been trading. It looks okay. Hasn't didn't break out as much as copper. It's got some room on the downside. I liked COPX because of this massive thing. Best way to get on-chain copper exposure? I don't think that exists. Unironically, Mirror protocol from Luna, they tried to do something like that. It exploded with everything else, but they did have that. All right, what else? Builder says he's been scavenging through trash for value. Go-to time frame for the cloud is always the daily, but if an alt doesn't have enough trading history, it's got to be the 4-hour or the hourly. The lower you go on the time frames, the less hit rate the signals have for the cloud, so you just got to be careful. Yeah, we can switch back to crypto. Ondo. I thought this looked fine. Somebody brought this up. I forget his name. He comments all the time. It looks okay. We can measure the fibs on this, I guess. Where do we take this? I don't know. Somewhere down here. It is in a trend. It's a bullish trend. It also is hitting its target on this consolidation. So it looks okay. I don't really have anything else to say about it. W? What is W? Wayfair. Okay. Wayfair. Interesting. First thing I see is the cloud is useless. And let's check B bands. Semi-useless. It's kind of just kind of looks like MSOS, doesn't it? Maybe not. I don't know. It's just like turbo angry ranging. Ascending triangle, maybe? Something like that. I wouldn't like this until it made a new high at like 77 or something. The cloud is kind of agreeing. It's like the square chart where it's like it just needs so much time to figure out what it wants to be when it grows up. It needs rates down, liquidity up. Similar chart. All right, that was all the list I had for people's requests. PLTR says boom draw. Bearish. No, I'm kidding. What did you think I was gonna say? Boom. I don't really have a strong opinion either way. It just looks like chop to me. For some reason, somehow this became like a retail favorite. I don't really know why. It's got some sort of like, yeah, some sort of megaphone thing here. I'm not a fan of. I don't know. I have nothing to say about it really. It kind of just has done nothing for a while. Up chop. There's no pattern here really other than the megaphone. Trend is okay. I don't know. I don't really have any strong feelings on it one way or the other. Yeah, spin. Let's start over for spin kick. Another 2 hours. um, did I do turbo? No, I did not. Is that legacy? Crypto? I mean, what do you want me to say on turbo? It looks fine. Looks like the move has happened. I have nothing to say whatsoever. Looks great. Looks like a sell to me up here. You guys are supposed to tell me stuff before the move happens. You guys are supposed to talk to me about turbo at this level when it's breaking out. Up here, it's done. The move's over. The train is in a different zip code. All right, let's go to my personal list of legacy. Let's just rattle them off. We'll go Mag 7 first. NVIDIA we talked about. Nice little reversal day. The bears are going to get all bared up on that. Trend-wise, it looks more than fine. Basically, it could retrace all the way to the breakout and still be fine, below 1,000. SMCI has been in ranging hell for a little while now. Neutral, nothing to say there. Apple on the daily has been mega chop. The cloud is not going to trade this well because it's so choppy. Weekly still crossed bearish somehow on the TK. I think you gotta watch out for this possibility. Head and shoulders. Something like that. I don't know. It's not for me. I think there's just better stuff to trade, personally. Microsoft. Ugly reversal there. Again, it has that head and shoulders possibility to it. Just got to dodge that. Amazon, double top. Got to dodge that. Meta still in the daily cloud. Just neutral. Google still has this cup and handle target. It's not going to get there in a straight line, but it still has that on the table. Netflix, just not for me. It looks better than everything else, but not for me. Tesla, I was saying Tesla could have a IHS down here. And this is coming from me. Okay, I think Tesla's a junk company. So, yeah, it's not because I like the company. KWeb had a nice bounce on the daily Kijun today. I think it just needs time, just needs lots of time. KWeb's the Chinese internet ETF. Just needs time. Looks good on trend, looks good on cloud. Back at the highs. Looks fine to me. Toast. Ugly reversal for Toast. Doesn't look great. Doesn't look like it's over. You always hate seeing stuff come back into the range. It looks okay. It looks okay. S&P. S&P. Everybody's going to be talking about the double top. It's here, the double top. And then we're going to bounce. And then people are going to be saying, the head and shoulders is here. It's the head and shoulders. All those things are possible. I just think we're at a natural place where we're just taking a breath. Trend-wise, it looks okay. Just think there are better places to be. Then the index, the Qs also, we are going to see calls for Head and Shoulders in give it like 2 months. Give it 2 months, and I'm telling you, we will have people calling for this. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And they could be right, but we need to see it play out first. It's just, it's pulling back. IWM somehow up today, but to me, IWM looks like MSOS. I'm that guy. I'm that guy in IWM. I do not think this looks bullish up here. DJI, just a brutal reversal from DJI. Down 5%. That's an ugly M double top rejection at all-time highs for that one. DXY, just chop all over the place. Mostly, I don't know, just ranging chop. High yield bonds, ranging chop, HYG. For Bitcoin, we want HYG to break up. So we actually want this to be bullish. It looks okay. UJ. Angry up chop. We definitely don't want this thing getting carried away, because then yield expectations go up, risk markets go down. This needs to be ranging. Euro also kind of just ranging. We want the euro to be bullish. I don't know on what planet the euro would be bullish, but that's what we want for Bitcoin. Costco, sure. Costco, new all-time highs again. Love this chart. This says earnings, what, today? Yeah, like 5 minutes it has earnings. What a crazy chart. Crazy chart. Insane chart. Pfizer pulled up a little bit today. We talked about that already. Gold, just double toppy. I don't know, looks fine. Everything pulled up so much, it just needs a break, People are taking profit. Silver, same thing. People taking profit. Ideally, this stuff just keeps ranging. So silver down to 30, and then we get some sort of like flag or something, right? I think the issue with this stuff, I see it more in legacy than crypto. I see people saying like, oh, the silver breakout is over. Like, we'll see, I guess, but this could just range, Oil down a lot today, 1.75%. That's bullish for risk. So we'll take it. XLE, I think XLE has this like falling wedge thing going on. I'm optimistic. Look, I got the shot and the booster, and then I'm done. Okay, I did my civic duty. I did what I needed to do. No more. COPEX we talked about. WPM. This is gold and silver mining, right? Looks okay. I mean, again, this stuff, everything just needs time. It's not going to just go up forever and ever and ever. Uranium looks fine to me. Platinum and palladium, just ranging chop. I still like the general shape. I like the general shape of this. Morgan Stanley has had a pretty nasty pullback for me, unfortunately. Still above the neckline. Looks okay. I don't know. Everything is just kind of, the rest is just banks. I don't know, everything's just kind of chopping around. Summertime, people touching grass. Let me see what other, real quick. We talked about, oh, miners. Did I talk about miners yet? The miners are mostly chop. PayPal's up a bunch, I guess. I don't know. Nothing's like compelling here. I think the next thing to move is going to be BTC. And we could all be slightly richer tomorrow after the PCE announcement. That's about it. That's about it. Any other last requests? MC, what are these three? Cass. Speed round, lightning round, Cass looks fine. Neutral. Doesn't look great, doesn't look horrible. Hood target, 50, I think, was the target. Where do you people find this stuff? MC and Builder got to get together. This looks like a rising wedge to me. I'd be careful on that, for sure. Be very careful with that one. LCX. That looks ready to be angry. A little head and shoulders action. Be careful with that one too. Wojak. Look like that other chart, Turbo. You know, it's up a lot, super quickly. That's a sell for me. GME, sure, why not? Why not? Why? We're 2 hours in. Now's about the time we look at GME. I don't know. I've got nothing to say about it. Turbo chop. Maybe diamond bottom. Maybe, right? You got like this thing going on. You know, the funny thing is that it kind of looks like Tesla and a Tesla on the daily. And I know the Tesla people and the GME people are roughly the same people. So it's just funny. All right, spy puke on the 1 second. Sure, we'll go out with the spy on the 1 second. Not that. Leave me alone, TradingView. 1 second? Do I even have that on TradingView? I guess I do. What a mess. Even broke lower on close. So we're down 0.1% in a second. All right, that's all I got for this one. Give me a like, dislike, whatever. Let me know if you want me to talk about anything in the future in the comments of this video. Take care. Have a good weekend.